Horrifying things to consider when thinking about aliens. Flipster. Aliens could do to us what we did to wolves, selectively breeding once noble species in grotesque ways, transforming us into the equivalent of bulldogs, poodles, dachshunds, etc. Victor Hardapple. One theory from Stephen Hawking is that if they are sufficiently advanced, that aliens may treat us like ants. When we build dams, we don't worry about whether or not a dam will cause an anthill to be flooded out. Similarly, a species that is advanced as far beyond us as we are beyond ants might seek to alter our planet or even our solar system to their advantage without giving consideration to what may happen to us. 2020 chapter. This reminds me of the dark forest theory. Like hunters in a dark forest, a civilization can never be certain of an alien civilization's true intentions. In summary, all life desires to stay alive. There is no way to know if other life forms can or will destroy you if given a chance. Lacking assurances, the safest option for any species is to annihilate other life forms before they have a chance to do the same. Askreddit. Number 1. There is absolutely nothing on planet Earth that the aliens can't find in more abundance elsewhere. Precious metals, gases for fuel, assuming they don't have zero-point energy or some shit that lets them get power from vacuum, and even water are all available in space, and you can get this resources with zero resistance. So I don't think they would come here for any resources, unless they want our biosphere, which, for all we know, could be abundant in the galaxy. Number 2. If aliens do show up one day, but turn out to be hostile, there is absolutely nothing we can do to stop them. If they have been coming here, if you believe that sort of thing, they have been doing so for a very long time. They know everything about us, including our weaknesses, and how to exploit them. Meanwhile, they are a species capable of FTL travel. Wiping us out would be as simple for them as flipping on a light switch. No jet-to-ship dogfights, no magical weak point to hit, no third-act secret weapon to save us. Just one press of that button and everything turns white, and then black. So if they do come to Earth, they would need a damn good reason to. If our luck is truly awful, and they actually want something from us, we'd better pray that it's something that we don't have to fight over, because we wouldn't stand a chance. The Unreal Abyss. They are not harvesting metals, they are harvesting the energy of the stars, and randomly happen to come across our star. Now they are using our sun to fuel up their ship like at a gas station without caring that there are planets nearby. Once the energy has been harvested and the sun has cooled down, they leave us freezing to death. Captain Wisconsin. For all we know, aliens might not be the little green men that fly around in flying saucers and destroy us with laser beams. They could be an interstellar pathogen that shows up one day and silently and effortlessly kills us all without warning. Our immune systems would have no idea what hit them. But there was a book called Blind Sight that explores a cool idea of aliens where they're not your typical little green men. The premise is pretty much, what if humanity is unique? What if intelligent life is common but sentience is not? That music, art, literature is a uniquely human trait. That space is filled with cold, emotionless, genius life. To be Pacific, our human concepts of morality and empathy are heavily influenced by our mammalian biology. Imagine that aliens land, and instead of having a nice little family units, their species lays clutches of thousands of eggs at a time. They don't form strong bonds. Life is essentially expendable for them. They see us weeping over a dead child, and they have literally no frame of reference for understanding why this would be upsetting. I'm not saying all aliens will be like this, but some definitely could be. By Jingleberry Johnson. The assumption that they come in groups in some flying saucer, for all we know, they might just appear in hordes of thousands, if not millions, all across the planet. Also, we like to think that aliens will share the same way of thinking as humans, i.e., reasoning, emotions, etc. But the only reason we think that is because that's the only thing we are familiar with. Aliens might have completely different emotions or thought processes than us, but we won't know because we never encountered them before. It's like the fourth dimension. At this point, it's pretty well established what it is, but most of us, if not all, have no clue how to visualize or properly explain it. Marmalade. Well, for us at least, the best way I think that we can evolve to be spacefarers is to become energy hardware based beings. If you take the squishy human body out of the equation and have us uploaded as digital consciousnesses or collective consciousnesses, then you eliminate a lot of the problems of deep space travel, resources, radiation, size of spacecraft, reproduction, acceleration, deceleration, etc. With feasible technology, you could literally beam human consciousnesses vast distances at the speed of light to preceded automatic factories that produce what we need from local resources, robotic bodies, ships, and the like. It's just one idea, but it definitely solves a number of problems we're going to encounter in the next few centuries. My free range is sarcasm. I've occasionally wondered if there are interdimensional aliens that can just shift space-time around themselves instead of themselves around space-time. Scuba naut. I remember learning about notes written from the Native Americans back when the first colonizing ships sailed to America. They couldn't even comprehend what they were seeing. Something of that scale had never taken place in their lives. They had never seen boats that big, nor did they think it possible. I feel like if anything were to contact us, it would be like that. My tanned croissant. I would much rather be massively, massively outgunned than to just be a little bit outgunned. If even our most powerful nukes are nothing compared to their technology, then we're not a threat. If we pose a potential danger to them, then there's an incentive to eliminate us. Victor Hardapple. Yes, just the act of coming here suggests that they have harnessed a power source more powerful than what we currently have, and gravity works in their favor. If we launch missiles at them, those missiles will have to use a lot of fuel just to escape gravity, whereas they could literally drop large rocks on us, and gravity will accelerate them to the point where they deliver devastating kinetic forces when they hit the Earth. Libbiness. My main thing is that they'll bring a virus or something that'll just wipe us out because we've never seen anything like it. Or we'll be immune because it's too alien. Who knows? But until there's like actual proof that there are advanced aliens out there, I'll stick to the idea that there are bacterial cells on Titan or something. Deleted. Maybe all those supposed alien abductions and UFOs over the past 100 years have been alien scientists building vaccinations against our known diseases for themselves, and adapting their own medical immunities for humans too. Monitoring our progress against our own diseases, so when both civilizations are on top of it, we can be welcomed into the galactic fold safely. By Sharda Hartley. Since life on this planet is one big cycle of eating other living things, planets and animals, to survive, they might be so horrified that they press the big nope button and end it all. To be Pacific, right? Imagine aliens that evolved on a planet where all life photosynthesizes. They see us and they're like, oh cool, a whole planet full of monsters. Bullet cat. That they don't actually exist. If there are no advanced civilization that can colonize other planets, that would mean that most of them go extinct before they reach that level of technological advancement, which means that we are probably doomed to extinction too. Hillfigure trout. This is my favorite answer. Not the visceral, obvious fear of they want to enslave, colonize us. No, the scariest thing about alien life is that we just haven't heard from any of it, which means we might actually be completely alone. We're the last human species left, the last creature on Earth who could be smart enough to leave our home planet. The scariest thought is that we're still nowhere close to leaving, and there's nothing out there to help us, just a cold, empty, unfeeling universe. By Maxwell's Demona. They might not have orifices for eating or pooping. Hear me out. Almost all life on Earth is topologically equivalent to a donut, meaning we have an outside wall and an inside wall, digestive and respiratory tract, that runs like a hole through us, and our important bits are sandwiched in between these walls. One of the only examples of life that isn't like this would be, for example, single-celled organisms, amoebas and such, which just kind of ooze over whatever they acquire sustenance from and osmose it into themselves. Currently on Earth, only microorganisms are like that. Also, some weird ocean creatures. But there are fossils dating back from before the Cambrian explosion, from millions of years ago, which hints that a completely different type of large and complex organisms might have evolved to walk the Earth before that evolutionary lineage was wiped out by an asteroid or the like. One of the oldest of these rare fossils is of a zero-orificed creature that was about a meter long. We don't have a lot of info from life during that age, but it indicates that there might have been an entire evolutionary track of complex life forms favoring life that is topologically equivalent to a ball instead of a donut. And that's on Earth. So yeah, we could very well find an entire planet of giant oozy amoebas of assorted species and intelligence who can neither eat, speak, or shit like we do, just trying to figure out how to beach that cultural language barrier. For those asking for more info on the ancient Earth giant amoeba fossil, I read about it in The Science of Discworld, co-authored by Pratchett and 2 others, which is a very cool take on a popular science book about our world. Yes, don't worry, not about the Discworld, although alternating chapters use a fun Discworld frame story as an excuse to look at all the cool science in the science chapters. I'll see if I can pinpoint where in the books they talked about this fossil and update if I can find it. Would highly recommend this as a popular science read, by the way. Very interesting and educational. Found it. The class of fossils are called Ediacarians, an excerpt from chapter 23 of The Science of the Discworld. These creatures are known as Ediacarians after a place in Australia where the first fossils are found. They could grow to half a meter or more, but as far as can be told from the fossil record, seem not to have had any internal organs or external orifices like a mouth or an anus. They may have survived by digesting symbiotic bacteria into their cells, or by some other process we can only guess at. Some were flattened and clustered together in quilts. We have no idea whether the Ediacarians were our distant ancestors, or whether they were a dead end, a lifestyle doomed to failure. No matter, they were around then, and as far as anyone knew, not much else was. There are hints of fossil worm casts, though, and some very recent fossils look like. But we're getting ahead of the story. The point is that nearly all Ediacarian life was apparently unrelated to what came later. Sleepyhead 007. What's this holeless creature called? Orange Avalanche. There's a living jellyfish-type creature on Earth right now that doesn't have a permanent anus. It actually spawns and then closes a new butthole whenever it needs to poop, and is the only animal on Earth, as far as we know, that does this. I might know someone. Could an alien do something similar? There doesn't seem to be any reason to assume it couldn't. Juturna. Forest theory kind of freaks me out. The universe is a dark forest. Every civilization is an armed hunter, stalking through the trees like a ghost, gently pushing aside branches that block the path and trying to tread without a sound. Even breathing is done with care. The hunter has to be careful, because everywhere in the forest are stealthy hunters like him, and if he finds another life, another hunter, angel, or demon, a delicate infant to tottering old man, fairy or demigod, there's only one thing he can do: open fire and eliminate them. A Pittsburgh original. Earth, screaming loudly and crashing through the forest. Ohio, whoa, whoa. I remember hearing an analogy. It's like we're in an empty city and we're the only house with a light. Maybe there's a reason all the lights are off. Subscribe to my channel for twice weekly videos about the dark side of the internet.